Key questions sociologists ask. Sociology is the study of human society, social behavior, and the invisible threads that connect people to each other. Sociologists are like detectives of social life. They are not content with surface appearances. They dig deeper into why people act the way they do, how society is organized, and how invisible systems of power shape our lives. Sociology is not about memorizing facts but about asking sharp, thoughtful questions that make us see the world from a different angle. The questions sociologists ask may sound simple, but they open doors to profound insights about how humans live together, how they create meaning, and how societies change over time. One of the first questions sociologists ask is, why do people behave differently in groups than when they are alone? Human behavior is deeply shaped by social context. For instance, a person might act polite and reserved at a formal dinner but loud and carefree at a concert. The same person changes because of the expectations around them. Sociologists are curious about these shifts. They explore how social rules, culture, and group pressure influence what people say and do. This helps them understand that human behavior is not purely individual, it is social at its core. Another essential question is, what holds societies together, and what causes them to fall apart? This question fascinated classic thinkers like Emile Durkheim, who wondered why some societies maintain stability while others experience conflict and chaos. Sociologists explore the shared beliefs, traditions, and institutions, such as family, education, and religion, that create a sense of unity among people. They also study the forces of inequality, tension, and injustice that can divide a community. By asking this question, sociologists try to understand the balance between order and change in society. Sociologists also ask, how does power shape human life? Power is not just about who controls governments or armies, it exists in everyday relationships. A teacher has power over students, employers have power over workers, and even within families, power is distributed unevenly. Sociologists examine how power is created, maintained, and challenged. They look at how it influences opportunities, decisions, and outcomes in people's lives. For example, they might ask why some groups have better access to education, healthcare, or jobs than others. By uncovering these patterns, sociology exposes the often hidden structures that keep inequality alive. Another deep question is, how does culture shape our understanding of the world? Culture is everything that humans create: language, beliefs, art, food, traditions, and even values. It gives meaning to our experiences. Sociologists study culture to understand how it influences perception and identity. They ask, for example, why people in one culture see independence as a virtue while another culture values community and obedience. They also explore how global communication is mixing cultures and creating new forms of identity. Culture helps people belong to something bigger than themselves, but it can also create divisions when people misunderstand or judge those who are different. Sociologists also wonder, how does social class affect our life chances? They explore how wealth, education, and occupation shape people's access to opportunities. Someone born into a rich family usually has access to good schools, connections, and healthcare, while someone born into poverty faces structural barriers that make it harder to move up. Sociologists do not simply blame individuals for their struggles, they examine how social systems shape destiny. They ask questions like, why do the rich keep getting richer? Or why does poverty persist even in wealthy countries? These questions push society to reflect on fairness and justice. Gender and race are also crucial areas of sociological questioning. Sociologists ask, how do gender roles and racial identities influence behavior, power, and relationships? They investigate how societies create expectations for men and women, and how these expectations limit or empower individuals. They also analyze racism, discrimination, and privilege to uncover the ways they continue to shape modern life. Such questions help people recognize invisible biases and push for equality. Sociologists also ask, how does social change happen? History shows that societies are never static, they evolve through revolutions, reforms, and movements. Sociologists are fascinated by how new ideas spread and how ordinary people challenge old systems. They study social movements such as feminism, civil rights, and environmental activism to understand how collective action transforms the world. This question connects the past, present, and future, showing that people are both shaped by society and capable of reshaping it. Another key question is, how does technology affect society? In the modern world, digital devices, artificial intelligence, and social media are transforming how humans communicate and interact. Sociologists explore how technology influences relationships, privacy, and even mental health. They ask whether online communities strengthen or weaken social bonds, and how technology changes the meaning of friendship, work, and identity. This helps people understand that technology is not neutral, it carries social consequences. Sociologists also ask, how do institutions like education, government, and media shape our beliefs and opportunities? Schools teach more than reading and writing, they also teach discipline, competition, and social norms. The media influences what people think about, often controlling which stories are told and which are ignored. Governments make laws that reflect values and priorities. By examining institutions, sociologists see how society organizes itself and how institutions sometimes serve certain groups more than others. Finally, sociologists ask, what is the individual's role in society? This question brings together all others. It reminds us that people are not just passive products of their environment. We make choices, resist pressures, and sometimes create change. Sociologists are interested in how individuals navigate the structures around them, how they interpret rules, build relationships, and find meaning in their lives. This balance between personal freedom and social influence is at the heart of sociological thinking. Asking these questions helps us understand that society is not random, it is patterned and meaningful. Sociology teaches us to see beyond personal experience and recognize the larger forces that shape our lives. It helps us question assumptions, understand others, and think critically about the world we live in. The more we ask sociological questions, the better we understand inequality, culture, power, and change. In a world facing challenges like climate change, migration, and digital transformation, these questions are more relevant than ever. Sociology reminds us that behind every statistic there is a story, behind every problem there is a system, and behind every social change there are people. It opens our eyes to the complexity of human life and helps us imagine better ways of living together. So next time you wonder why people behave as they do, why the world seems unfair, or how change happens, remember, you are already thinking like a sociologist. If you enjoyed this discussion and want to explore more about how society shapes us, please like this video and subscribe to the channel to support more educational content.